Tonight in the MGM Concert Hall, Meredith Willson plays a melody that, although written 48 years ago, is being played and sung as one of today's newest song hits. Since this melody has been exploited in the popular style, it has made more money for the estate of its composer than all of the immortal compositions he wrote during his lifetime. Most of you know it as My Reverie, adapted by Larry Clinton. But Meredith plays it for you now as it was originally written in the year 1890, one of music's most beautiful classics, Reverie by Claude Debussy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a well-known fact that the sporting eyes of America will be gazing westward next Monday when the undefeated Blue Devils from Duke University in North Carolina meet the champions of the Pacific Coast, the University of Southern California, in the annual Rose Bowl game. Millions of people will listen to this classic on the air, and what they'll hear will be a masterly, constantly exciting report of the game created on the spot for them by the man I want you to meet now, NBC sports announcer and commentator, news of the day, Bill Stern.
Thank you very much, Bob Young.
Bill, there are a couple of things about your profession I'd like to know.
Well, fire away and I'll make a guess.
Now, when I go to a game, I can barely tell which team has the ball, let alone who's running with it. How do you follow all the plays so well?
Well, Bob, as NBC sports announcer and commentator for the News of the Day newsreel, I have an opportunity of seeing and carefully studying the motion pictures of all football games. And, as a rule, I spend a couple of days each week before a game watching both teams at practice. And so that way I get an idea of how the plays go as well as which players to watch.
Well, that should help. The other feature of your performance that baffles me is how you manage to well, keep talking when there's nothing going on. And very good, too.
Well, thanks, Bob. That's a matter of preparation. Maybe you noticed that in between plays, I don't fill in with ad-libs about how many fur coats there are in the stands or with the stuff about the blonde that just arrived in Tunnel 8.
Oh, you don't notice the blonde, huh?
Bob, I didn't say that. But I don't talk about it. I try to fill in with stuff about the previous plays, yardage figures, kicking figures, etc.
I see. Well, it sounds like it's a tougher racket than I thought. Have you seen Duke in action, Bill?
Yes, I saw them back east, and believe me, Bob, they're a swell team.
Well, come on now, Bill. Break down and give us a quiet, confidential prediction on the Rose Bowl game.
Well, now, let me see. We're now here in Hollywood, California. And as I look into this sea of happy faces, well, I suppose I'd get killed if I didn't pick Southern Cal.
Well, as long as you're sure of that, Bill, I'd like to get a few dollars down on the game.
No. Now turn it off and turn the motor off, too. Last time I ever listened to the radio.
Frank Morgan.
Hello, Bob.
What are you beeping about now?
Bob, I've just been listening to some radio program in my car, and my heart bleeds for the American people. The idea of foisting off on the public a phony football expert, making predictions.
Frank!
That he... What?
Who was it?
I don't know, but he was talking to an infantile master of ceremonies who kept calling him Bill. I never heard such...
Frank!
What?
You know who you were listening to?
No, but there's one thing I will say. I've never been a great admirer of Meredith Willson's music, as you know. But the orchestra I just heard was even worse.
What's this?
Oh, Meredith, I just heard some band absolutely slaughter Debussy's Reverie.
You did?
Yes.
You should have heard us play.
Go away, Meredith.
Oh, sure.
Honestly, Bob, I can't get over that expert's prediction. Imagine him trying to pick the winner of the Rose Bowl game. Bob, I think your pal here has a cold. You better gargle, son.
Now, wait a minute, Frank. You better go easy with the football expert stuff.
I know what I'm talking about. Do you know anything about football?
A little?
A little. When you talk to me, young, you're talking to a pigskin encyclopedia. Who was the sensational right guard for Trappist College in 1921?
Fred Flapter, 191 pounds.
Flapter. Yeah. Well, who was the famous quarterback for the Misleys in 1920?
George Kravis, 155 pounds and a blonde.
She was? Kravis. The man's right, son. You seem to know a good deal about football.
Thank you.
Oh, Frank.
Yes?
You're really in a box this time. I want you to shake hands with the greatest football broadcaster alive, Bill Stern.
Well, I'll be glad to. Where is he?
Right here. This is Bill Stern.
That's
That's right there. That's right.
Broadcast, football Stern, yes. Well, I've got to be... I think I hear my car knocking. I'll just...
Frank, come here. Make like a football windbag.
Young, someday you'll go too far. But not too far for me. Mr. Stern, do you recall the famous 11 that played at Rolls Tech in 1918?
Why, yes, Frank. I was head coach there in 1918.
Oh, it's fourth down, Frank. You better punt.
Punt. Mr. Stern, how far back do you go?
Oh, around 1915, I should say.
1915. Then you wouldn't remember the great 1912 team at Hartley.
No.
Oh, there was a team. Unbeaten, unscored on, and untied for 3 seasons. When I was carrying the ball for...
Frank!
Yes.
You're going to represent yourself as a member of the great Hartley team of 1912?
All-American Morgan, sir. Halfback for Notre Dame, quarterback for Harvard, nickelback for the bottle.
What's that?
The Blue Devils have been tampering with my notes. I was the only quadruple threat man in the history of the game.
That triple threat isn't big enough for him.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting, Mr. Morgan. I never heard of a quadruple threat man before.
Kick, run, pass, and fumble.
I'll bet you were dynamite in the huddle.
Was I? I can see myself to this day. My battered 11, grim faces covered with mud. I pleaded with them to join me in a terrific drive. I cursed at them, I cajoled them, threatened, wheedled. We must cross that last white line. The referee's whistle blew. The quarterback called the signals. The ball was snapped. The play began. And suddenly, I felt a blinding pain as something struck me at the base of my spine.
You fell off the bench.
Yes. No!